The two things that annoy me about romantic people, the first thing is they always tell me how I should feel about sex and romance. Like, I dated people, and I respect people's boundaries when they're like, I'm not trying to have sex or a relationship with you. I'm also happy for the friendship, but the thing that annoys me when they say I should be the one who's sad or angry for them for romantically rejecting me. But like, why would I be sad or angry for someone naming a boundary? Like, I'm gonna ask for space to grieve, so make sure like my energy is detoxed from my assumptions of that connection we had before the boundary was in place. So I'm gonna grieve and get myself right and get my chakras aligned to respect a boundary of a friend, which I respect. But the only thing that's hard is like feeling like I gotta have romance and sex just to have the level of emotional intimacy and support from the friendship and the family communities. That's the why it's so problematic. I say it impacts people who are single and disabled. I'm also Black, so I deal with the anti-Black racism, and then the homophobia, and then being asexual and aromantic. Well, I was asexual for like a teenager in middle school and like my young adult until 21. Became gray ace. Like I had like before I had no desire for sex, like had no libido, and then became a kind of middle libido. Like I had like interest in sex, but I never really acted on it. And like today, right now, like I do not relate with the identity of an asexual person, but I still use like gray ace as an identity because that was an experience of my life. Because like literally I was sex repulsed. I didn't have the vocabulary to name my experience when friends tease me, oh, you never had sex, like, oh, you never know your sexuality until you try. Like, why do I gotta try sex just to know that I'm queer? And why do I gotta try romance just to know that I'm queer? Like, I was so queer without having to date and having romance. Like, I've been self-partnered my entire life. And the difficulty about that identity is, like, constantly relying on the friendships and the family connections. And, like, people constantly bend over backwards for their romantic and their sexual love. And I'm happy for you, but, like, send a text message, hello. Be like, hey, what's up? Invite me to your date. But the only thing that's hard, it's like I do get triggered when people have their romantic the romantic norms that's subtly in place in conversation. Because like an example, like I'm always at an event or like a reunion when I connect with like the friendships that I've had like in middle school or high school. They always they talk about their marriages or like falling out of love or their sexual experiences. I'm happy if they mention it like in a conversation like once